Hey guys, welcome back to the Minecraft video with me. Today we are looking at experience and ways to get it. Today we're going to be looking at two different parts in this video. One is going to be the simple ways, such as killing a mob or breeding a pig. And the second part is going to be the farms. Both the easy stuff that you can get just beginning in your world and the endgame projects, which take like 30 weeks or years or something to make. Anyways, they range from stuff in the overworld through the nether and into the end, going from things like a simple spawning room to an enderdragon XP farm created by Panda, which is currently the best XP farm in the game. We're going to be discussing all the differences, a few pros and cons between the two, but mostly using this as a reference in case you need to find something that you want. But now, let's go ahead and get started. So, starting in on part one of the video, basically we're going to be looking at the simple ways you can get it, the core ways you can get experience. Basically, these are the things that the spawners and everything else and all the farms use in order to get you all that experience. It's basically the method, or the base core of getting the experience. So we're going to start off and jump right into this here. Basically, the most simple way you can get any of this is obviously killing any adult mob. It's pretty simple, pretty self-explanatory, and you probably do it quite a lot. You get the XP. The next thing, which a lot of people use, is trading with villagers. If you trade with a villager, as you saw there, my XP jumped a little bit. And you can also trade for them for bottles of enchanting, which also raise your XP level. So in effect, you can trade a villager for a bottle of enchanting. You get XP for the trade, and you also get XP for the bottle. Pretty cool. Another thing which is pretty common is breeding. Basically, you have two animals that passionately make love to each other, and you get some XP, which we're going to turn our back onto and let them do privately. But basically, if you have a big pen of animals, that's a great way to get experience. You both get the baby stuff that you can let grow up and kill and get experience, and you get experience from breeding it themselves. The next thing, fishing. A lot of people don't necessarily know, but if you go fishing, you get XP from it. So those automated fishing farms that allow you to get tons of name tags and stuff also work as a functioning AFK XP farm. You don't even have to punch mobs or anything. But we're not going to wait here till we catch a fish, because that would take all day. The next part of our little adventure here is talking about ores. Mining ores such as coal, which drops the least through redstone, lapis, diamond, and emerald, and also nether quartz, well, we'll get to that in a minute, all drop experience. Ores such as iron and gold, which just drop the ore form, will only give you experience if you take it out of the furnace, like so. Things such as iron and gold will drop a lot more experience when you take them out of a furnace, but stuff like fish or wood and stuff like that will drop a lot less. The next thing, this is basically the closest thing we're going to talk about to farming without actually getting into the XP farms yet. This is more like grinding. Basically, I suggest the first way you get massive amounts of experience in your world is to hop into the nether as quickly as possible and mine nether quartz. Basically, there's a huge plethora of nether quartz, and nether quartz drops one of, if not the most experience out of any of the ores in the game. So basically, mining the ore, do you not only get the nether quartz itself, but you also get tons of experience. It is everywhere in the nether and super easy to get at least 30 levels within 10 minutes. Pretty simple. The next thing, spawners. Basically, it's pretty simple. You use the spawner to make a lot of the experience farms, and you can also just sit away and hack at the mobs if you want, but you can also get experience from mining the spawner itself. However, this is not recommended, as there's so many possibilities of getting so much more experience without just mining the block to get maybe half a level. But anyways, that's it for all the simple core ideas on how to get experience. Time to talk about the farms. So, now it's time to talk about the farms. Basically, the actual efficient ways that you can get experience in the game. As I said before, we're going to talk about different categories, so basically we're going to try and split this up into a bunch of branches to make it a lot easier to understand. I'm not going to spend too much time on the easy to make stuff, the simple stuff, because to be honest, it's pretty self-explanatory. There's a lot of stuff you can get just simple amounts, but it's not really worth it to spend the time putting all that time in just to make a little bit of experience. You might as well put in the little bit of extra effort and get a lot more out of it. But it's worth noting. As you can see on the screen here, we're going to talk about 2 easy-to-make XP farms. Basically, the first one, you simply have a spawner. That's going to be the core of the easy one. Basically, you have some water. You carry it up with water streams and signs and ladders or whatnot. You bring it over. You drop it down. Suddenly, they're all at half a heart, and you can go punch them away to get the experience. Pretty simple. The next way, which is very common, is to use just mini spawning pads. Basically, a room in the dark that mobs can spawn on that then fall, and you have them at half a heart. Pretty simple. Those are mostly used for mob drops, too, in the beginning, but they work great for XP, so when you're going to set it up, might as well make it work for both. But that is pretty much the 2 that I'm going to talk about for the easy to make. Time to go straight into the end game, the interesting stuff, the amazing stuff. As I said before, we're going to split it into the overworld, the nether, and the end farms, but do not be fooled. Just because one is in the nether does not make it better than one in the overworld. So, to start off in the overworld, the nether portal pigman farm. This one, used for gold, and mostly gold, but it works great for XP too. If you're willing to spend that long mining obsidian, you might as well go for the XP as well. Basically, you create a bunch of end portals in the overworld, or you could do it in the nether, but what's the point of that? And then the pigmen will spawn in the actual nether portal itself, wait till they fall off, catch them in water, and use the crusher or falling or whatnot to get them down to half a heart, and voila, you have tons of XP again. The next one is probably the most complicated to do. Basically, it's Panda spawner regeneration. If you don't know what Panda I'm referring to, it's the YouTuber. Google him, he's from the Zip Crowd. He's a really cool YouTuber. Really innovative stuff. The Zip Crowd is very cool. Basically, it's a way using a certain machine that he created, or gadget, basically that allowed you to create spawners in never-before-loaded chunks. It's very cool. If you want to see how it all works and how it's all done, just go check out his video. But basically, create, like, up to 8 or 9 spawners all right next to each other, so it's, like, 9 times as effective as a standard spawning system, which is really cool. Huge spawning platforms. This one's really simple. No need to explain. It's just spawning platforms like I explained for the simple one, but just scaled up ridiculously. The next one, Silverfish Farm. There are 3 silverfish spawners in each vanilla Minecraft world. Use them with a certain smoothstone generator, a piston that pushes the silverfish onto the smoothstone blocks. The silverfish will then occupy the smoothstone. It will then be pushed into a bunch of piston arrays, which will compact it down into a giant cube, and you suddenly have a bunch of silverfish waiting for your killing pleasure. Pretty cool, and you can get a lot of experience from that. The last 2 are not just specifics, but more kind of covering broad categories. Witch farms and iron golem farms. A lot of this stuff in the game, like witch farms and iron golem farms, people create for the materials, for the item drops. But it should be noted you can get XP from them too. So if you're in a little bit of a scape where you need like materials and you also want XP, try building something that gives you both. Now we're going to move on to the nether. So I only included 3 because there is a limited number that you do, but they all kind of base off of these ideas, and there's different variants and stuff, but we're only going to talk about these. The Stronghold Farm, a good example is Zuma. He made a good one, or the Zip Crowd are making another good one. Basically, the area where the nether fortresses are is good spawning ground for mobs. So you create basically a bunch of line of spawning platforms with pistons and tripwires or however you want to do it. And you can get all those mobs to drop down, funnel into a little 1x1 killing area, and you're good to go. The next one, a pigman farm. Etho has a good example. Again, Zip Crowd, good example. Basically, a huge area of the nether needs to be cleared out, and then you have tons of spawning platforms. The pigmen will spawn, you drop them down. Same old story. And the last one, which is probably my favorite and one of the best and easiest to set up in the nether, the blaze spawners. Probably try and get 2 next to each other to make it worth your while, and then you could basically build funnels. Mumbo has good tutorials on that if you want to see that, and you funnel them down, get them down to half a heart. Good ways, a crusher, and you're good to go. And now the ones that you've been waiting for. The end. Basically, before about like a month ago, or 2, I'm not really sure, before Panda came out with the most epic of XP farms, the Enderman farm was the best way to go. Basically, it allowed you to create spawning platforms over 120 blocks away from the spawning island. So basically, Endermen can only spawn in your platforms and not on the end island. And they will fall down. You can reset the fall damage with vines, so you can make an infinite tower up until the building height of 256. And then you have tons of Endermen, and they drop about double the experience of normal mobs, so it was brilliant. But it required you to go punching them all around and wasted a lot of hunger. That was until the enderdragon XP farm by Panda once again. This thing is insane. The best XP farm in the game by far. This thing literally creates so much XP you don't have time to use it. There is so much XP you can't use it before you get new ones. You basically have too much, if that's possible. You basically, in a nutshell, trap the ender dragon in his dying animation in a bunch of pistons so that he's constantly dying, constantly dropping the XP, and you can constantly pick it up. It's insane. That's like, if you've killed an ender dragon before, that's like 100-something levels. Every, like, 20 seconds. Boom, mind equals blown. It is insane what this thing can do. There is no need you need that much XP. Like, no need. Not unless, like, 20 people are using this thing at once. There is absolutely no need for this amount of XP. Especially with the changes in the enchantment system. You only need about, like, 3 levels, and it's required to have a base of more, but you get the point. Anyways, guys, that is all I have time for today. It is summer here, and so I'm away a lot, and as you can tell, this video might have been a little bit rushed, but this video was actually a request by a certain user, a YouTube commenter, which I may or may not be able to put a picture of the comment on the screen right now, and he wanted this to be redone of an old video of mine, which you can find down in the comments below, hopefully, and basically he wanted me to do this again with updated information, and so that is what I've done. So if you have any video ideas you want me to do, let me know in the comments. I'm fully willing to tackle on any challenge you can give me, and anything you want, any questions you have, let me know. I'm here, I'm willing to engage in the community, unlike some of the bigger guys, and I want your input and anything else that you can give me, so let me know. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time.